Hello and welcome to It's About Time. I'm your host Elliot, and today on the show we have the most special guest ever that we've ever had on the show. From the 1600s, Abigail Sutton, daughter of Mary Sutton, the witch. Stay tuned as we take a peek into her life and what it is like during the Salvin witch trials from the perspective of the haunted. This episode is not for the squeamish. You've been warned.
Come on.
Really, but then again, if we have a time machine, we can do what we want with it. We're streaming in November. Oh, never mind. Stay tuned for not only our special guest Abigail Sutton, but also an exclusive interview, news report from the 1600s, a documentary all about the life of 17th century, and a visit into the craft coven to learn about our very own witchcraft tips and tricks.
Hello and welcome to the Crafty Coven, where I teach you how to fix your life with witchcraft. We'll be split into two parts today. Right now, I'll start making the remedies, and later on, they'll be ready for the taking. Before we begin, let me introduce my assistant, Natalia, who will be testing our remedies for us today. She's a woman of a few words. There'll be two recipes we'll be cooking up today, one for the speechless and the other for sore fingers. Natalia needs both. For our first remedy, you'll need 5 sage leaves, honey, and a mute who is willing to die. First, dip the sage leaves into the honey. So there, we've done that. And then they should be able to speak. However, they will also die shortly after. However, they will also die shortly after, so make sure to question how badly the person wants to speak. Now moving on, a remedy for sore fingers. This one will take more time than the other, so we won't have the finished products until later on in the show. You'll need honey, wheat, flour, a spoon, and a mixing bowl. Take the 2 ingredients and pour them into a bowl and start to the mix. By the end of the programme, your fingers will be good as new. Stay tuned to observe the effects of the sage leaves and see the sore finger remedy in action. Back to you, Elliot.
Thanks, Kian. Let's hope Natalia is with us for the rest of the show. Now, before I introduce our guest for today, here's a short documentary on the family and background. Here you go.
Witch. A woman thought to have magic powers, especially evil ones, popularly depicted as wearing a black cloak and pointed hat while flying on a broomstick. They're ingrained in modern culture, depicted time and time again, whether that be children that attend a school for magic and end up fighting wars, or cartoon fairies with elemental powers. They're fictional, right? Apparently not. In fact, witches were hunted and killed during the 1600s, and the Sutton family were no exception. They lived in the village of Milton in Bedfordshire, which was said to be a tight-knit community. One can imagine that everyone knew each other there. Mother Sutton and Mary Sutton lived together as hog tenders. Their story began at the start of the 17th century. Master Engar, the local landowner, found his horses and swine killing themselves and each other. He and some of the other villagers believed it was because of the Sutton women. Mary Sutton had 3 bastard children, one of which was Abigail and the other her brother, Henry. Henry was apprehended by one of Engar's servants for throwing rocks and mud at the local children in the mill dam. When Henry did not stop, he was struck by the servant and then went crying home to his mother. The next day, as Engar's cart was taking corn to the market, a fat black crow appeared before the horses. According to reports, it turned and spun in the road, bewitching the horses who dragged the cart this way and that, before finally running off with their load. It happened again on the way home. The servant who struck Henry was then stung by a beetle and sent into a trance while at work, paralysed. After Engar took him home, Mary supposedly entered through the window and sat down doing the knitting while staring at him, making improper suggestions, and then leaving when rejected, promptly releasing the servant from the spell for him to tell Engar what had happened. Having heard the gossip from the rumour mill, Engar's 7-year-old son threw rocks at the Suttons. He soon died. After which, Engar beat Sutton senseless and had her swim in the mill down. She sunk a little before floating and was declared a witch when Henry Sutton allegedly confessed that Mary was a witch. The boy reported that he had heard the two women discussing revenge on Engar through the use of their familiar spirits, Dick and Jude, with the aim of tormenting the man and killing his son. After this, Mary broke down and confessed herself, pleading guilty. Mother and Sutton were imprisoned in Bedford Gaol, put on trial and found guilty of witchcraft on Monday the 30th of March 1612. Both were hanged a few days later on the 7th of April. This was the first time water was used to test a witch in England.
So there you have it, the life of the Suttons. And here's Abigail, daughter of Mary Sutton. Like to come out, Abigail? Nice to see you. So, how was the trip?
It was alright, a bit bumpy.
Decent.
It was alright, yeah.
Same for myself. So,
Yeah.
it's good to hear now then, it's to my understanding that you grew up in a household practised by witchcraft.
Yeah, it's always been a huge part of my life,
Yeah.
witchcraft. I was actually quite surprised to find out that other children didn't practice it.
I experienced that myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
One of my kids do it myself, so
Alright.
yeah, fair enough. So, yeah. So what else do you get up to in this aspect of witchcraft?
Well, I think, so when I was younger, here's a story. When I was like 6, maybe 7, I ran into one of the school children that Henry, my friend, had been teasing.
Right.
He had like a big nasty scrape, so I used some of
Oh,
the family's
Jesus,
crafts
yeah.
to, soothe it.
Heal 'em up.
And we were friends until his mother and my mother found out about this. And my mother said she was keeping him safe, and his mum said she was keeping him safe. So like they didn't let us play together anymore. So I don't really know
You'd
the
have to
truth
go off
about
each other's
that.
words on it.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit iffy towards me. So you didn't go to school, did you?
No,
No,
I
not really.
didn't think there was any point. They weren't learning much of anything useful
No.
in school. So
Nothing
yeah.
specific, as it
No.
were. No. Oh well. Well, I see. Well, I can't even comment on this, on the state, on the education during the 1600s. Well, Henry then, what was he like in general?
He was really annoying, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I can't forgive him for what he did to my mother. He was always like that too, always cruel. He was tormenting the school children, tormenting me, tormenting the familiars, tormenting my mother and grandmother. But it might not really be his fault.
Yeah. It could just be the way it's been brought up, couldn't it? Well, so, bit of a weird child, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, there was like
Yeah.
a ritual when he was young, and I think he might have picked up some sort of entity,
Yeah.
like some sort
That
of
made him
possession
this
then.
way.
Yeah.
So how did he get into this ritual? Or do you yourself not know?
I
No,
don't know.
Personally, no.
No.
So, moving on then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. We
Yeah.
can talk about it, the
Yeah.
ritual.
You're comfortable with it?
Yeah.
That's good.
It wasn't like satanic or anything. We actually didn't think it was that big of a deal.
No.
He was already a bit of a scary child, so
Yeah.
I think it just
Well, it doesn't make it as
influenced
bad
him
then.
a bit.
If you've seen it from the start, it's not much of an issue. If you've gained used to it,
Yeah.
fair enough to you. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of the hereditary, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like my mum, she was nothing like that.
Mm.
You know.
Not comparable in any way.
No.
I can understand that. So, no, that's not what I meant, to be honest with you. I was trying to insult you. I was referenced from the 21st century. I think the 21st century tends to blend into the 24th for me. Both finally recovered from war on the cusp of a new one. Never mind, I'm going to a tangent here, to be
Right.
honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'll calm down. So, the magic. So, do you do magic now still?
Essentially, although it like has a range of like uses and practices,
Yeah.
remedies and spells are just the start of it. You can summon spirits, have familiars, like all of that stuff.
So, what is a familiar? Because I have no idea myself.
Well, a demon essentially who takes the form of an animal and
Right.
obeys you. But it's more like an intelligent pet who understands and instructions and stuff like that.
Well, sounds pretty extreme
Yeah.
to me. I've never heard of it, so.
Yeah.
So, sounds nice. I wouldn't mind a dog who actually fetches when they say fetch. My pooch isn't good at that at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so what's your family like other than Henry, etc.? Any children?
Well,
growing up
Henry
in
isn't
family?
in my family. Henry's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a brother.
Okay.
He's really lovely. My mother, she's really, really lovely.
Everything of the ordinary.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, in a
'cause-
way, yeah.
Well,
Except
it
from the
depends what
fact
you
you
say
do
ordinary
witchcraft,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my mum's lovely. And then, yeah.
So, what about your dad then? Is he just not really?
He's not really around.
No.
So
Would you say he
me
doesn't
and my
really-
brother, we were born out of wedlock.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah, I can
you
understand
know,
that.
Daddy isn't home. We don't really know
Yeah.
where.
yeah. So
he
he
is.
might have not agreed with the whole witchcraft thing. It could have been.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of people
But that
don't.
could be me looking into it too far.
Yeah.
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I don't want to touch any feelings of yours. So I'll
We're
keep out of
used to
that.
it. We're used
Yeah.
to it.
So what's your earliest witchcraft and what did you actually do?
Ooh, well, this was actually before I soothed that kid's knee. We were just in the kitchen and I just couldn't be bothered waiting for my bread to cook.
Right.
It takes too long, so
You just
my
whipped it up
earliest
yourself,
one
yeah.
is just, I just cooked it straight away.
Well, that's fair enough.
And then my mum told me off.
You can't really remember any of your brothers, what they did as the first witchcraft, no?
No.
Was it kind of some sick trick on you?
Probably
anyway?
some, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just to manipulate you in some
Yeah,
way.
oh yeah, there
Probably
was a lot
go
of
and
that.
get me a brew or something.
There was
just
a lot
manipulate
of
you.
that, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I think
The
I'll do that
bullying.
myself and my own sister, to be honest with
right.
you. So, yeah, but 21st century, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
No, yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
So, what else can we talk about? So your hobbies, apart from witchcraft, what else do you do?
I really like animals. I like cats, like the one
okay.
here.
Miniature, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I also like sewing and doing all that. It's
Yeah.
quite, you know.
Something of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Apart from witchcraft.
Apart
again,
from,
yeah.
I live an ordinary life
Yeah.
with just witchcraft on the side. Like
Oh,
a little.
okay. Yeah. So is it the same hobby as your mum's, or is it just something that
My
you
mum
decided
is
to take
a
on?
lot more in terms of normal hobbies, she's into like cooking and baking. She's fantastic at it. Like she's a lot better than me.
Right.
Like I
okay.
can't do it.
No, don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
So Henry, what does he do? Or is he just a menace around the house?
He's just a menace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, every person out there, to be honest,
Yeah.
even me. Anyway, I have to move on dead quick. Well, it's time for the break. We'll be right back in a minute with the advertisements coming with Abigail once again. Right, see you for now. Jesus.
With the glow of
That was
romance
harsh.
and happy dreams written on the sand, wedding bells, their home, a car. A rainbow of bright visions sweeping free over boundless horizons, and then the glorious view, so real, so true, of a dashing beauty on wheels.
We'll now be going to Andrew with the news up to now.
Today on the news, in 1613, the alleged remains of a giant are found in France. Mikhail Romanov becomes the Tsar of Russia at age 16. The first English child born in Canada and the Globe Theatre is destroyed in a fire. On the 11th of January, workers in a sandpit in the Dauphine region of France discovered a 30-foot-long brick tomb with the words Tuberculosis Rex cut into it. It is believed to hold the bones of a legendary giant, tuberculous king of the Teutons. Later in the same month, His Majesty King James the first successfully mediated the Treaty of Nard between Denmark and Sweden, meaning that Sweden has to pay the Alsborg ransom of 1 million riksdollars for the return of the fortress of Alsborg. Mikhail Romanov, son of the Theodore Romanov, was elected by the Zemsky Soba to rule the Tsardom of Russia at only age 16, marking the end of the time of troubles. On the 27th of March, the first English child was born in Canada at Cooper's Cove in the Newfoundland to Nicholas Guy.
Hello, my name is Nicole and I'm here in front of the remains of the critically acclaimed playwright Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. It has only been open for 14 years and this is all that remains of the three-storey open-air building that could accommodate up to 3,000 spectators. Many famous plays have been held here, including Julius Caesar, King Lear and Twelfth Night. But it is with a great sadness that I have to say that no more plays will be held on this site in the foreseeable future. There is some speculation on foul play with the epidemic of witchcraft in recent years, but there are no confirmed explanations as of yet. It is truly a shame to lose such an inclusive establishment. The Globe Theatre was a democratic institution with no rules on admittance, be you a baron, witch or shoemaker, as long as everyone paid for their tickets. However, there is talk of it being rebuilt on the other side of the River Thames, using tiles to the roof in place of the flammable straw that made up the original, so fans of Shakespeare needn't be too downtrodden. We have learnt from our mistakes and can look forward to the future.
Thank you, Nicole. Now we'll be going back to Crafty Coven.
Hello and welcome back to the Crafty Coven. I'm here with my assistant. Today I'm here by myself. If you were with us at the start of the show, you know that we've prepared 2 witchy remedies. A cure for the speechlessness, which was very successful, and now we have a mixture for sore fingers. As you can see. All you need to do is apply this to your fingers and they'll be good as new. I'm not going to use it myself because my fingers are perfect, as you can see. Instead, we are going to learn how to summon the dead. I did not plan to do this originally, but thanks to new developments, I have a test subject. This won't work for everyone, but if you're a natural-born necromancer, you've got a good shot at it. To do this, you'll need a dead body. The fresher the better. Natalia is about 1 minute dead. That's pretty fresh. We'd usually summon for aids to help us, but studio regulations wouldn't let us make a fire. But if you're at home, feel free to burn a bunch of incense, but try not to start a wildfire. We're going to chant this spell. I'll say it once first, and then we can say it together. Guardians of the spirit realm, hear my guide, my plea. When the witching hour rings true, bring my friend Natalia to me. Other souls who hear my call are not welcome in this place. Only one known as Natalia may enter the sacred space. Okay, together now, we'll bring Natalia back to us. Guardians of the spirit realm, hear my guide, my plea. When the witching hour rings true, bring my friend Natalia to me. Other souls who hear my call are not welcome in this place. Only the one known as Natalia may enter this sacred space. She's alive. Natalia, how do you feel? Well then, that was interesting. Sadly, this only works for a few moments. It should be any time now, any second. There we go. Well, thank you for joining this time on the Crafty Coven. That's all we have time for today. Join us next time and learn the perfect...
Thanks, Cian. We'll be sure not to cause any wildfires when trying to summon our dead loved ones. Well, I wouldn't anyway, to be honest with you. Now we'll be going back to asking wonderful questions to our guest, the young witch, Abigail.
Hi.
Back again?
Yeah.
Right, back on this weird interview we're having.
Yeah.
Right, so the first question from I was continuing last time, I'd like to ask you, so we discussed the family, all about your family, we discussed yourself, discussed your brother. I'd like to go on to, like, what was your job apart from witchcraft? Because obviously you don't get paid for doing witchcraft anymore, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of complicated, but 17th century, women don't usually work, so I just stay at home,
midwife,
do
maybe,
my thing.
of course. So how do you help around the house? I know it's the most common things, but we can go into the specifics, can't we?
Cleaning, all of that, I just look after...
Everyday things.
Yeah, look after everything.
So, like you have Henry, don't you? And everyone in the family.
Henry's not in my family.
Oh, yeah.
Henry's
sorry, I totally forgot about that. But your brother, I know what I'm on about here. Your brother's inside your family, obviously.
Yes,
so he has mates, doesn't he? So what's the common mate you'd bring round and what's he like? Does he cause any trouble?
He doesn't really bring them round. He mainly goes out with his mates.
So what does he normally do out?
I have no idea.
No.
I don't go out with him.
You had any trouble with the police with him at all?
No.
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 Right. So, do you think the trials will end up, ending sometime soon, or do you think they'll be here for a long time?
Well, you know the answer to that. You're a time traveller.
Of course, I understand, but how long is what I'm asking.
Hopefully in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Because your day and age, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how long is it going to last for? Like, it's going to be the next 10 years? What's going to happen? Is there going to be something implemented? We're going to see the total wipeout of witches?
Yeah.
But I have no idea personally, because how can you stop a witch? Because you're right here, sat next to me. But anyway, never mind about that. Let's go into pass on to the family and the tradition of witchcraft, and how you're going to pass on the tradition yourself.
I like to teach it to the children in the family. I think, school doesn't teach them anything useful.
Yeah.
But if you can learn witchcraft, you can do anything. So I want to teach it to the children, so that it can be passed on through generations.
Because you enjoy it yourself, so why shouldn't you teach your kids?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of a hobby in many ways. Yeah. Even though you're causing havoc sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I would understand that.
Yeah.
But not going to school could make you illiterate. You understand that? Do you think that's happened to your kids?
No, actually.
I know it's not happened to you, because you're sat here speaking finely to me. Like, I can understand
my mother
every
taught
word.
me how to write.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to be quite easy to teach the children in my family because I can just write out everything for them,
And they just
so
soak
that they
it in
can
like a
learn,
sponge, to
and
be
they can learn
honest.
to read as well through the spells and stuff that I give them.
Right. So do you have a book full of these spells, or do you just come out?
I can make one. I
Yeah.
can easily write a book.
Yeah. So how do you remember them off by heart then? I don't really get it myself.
Practice.
Practice. Makes perfect.
Yep,
Go on.
exactly.
Yeah. So, of course, do you reckon the books will stand test of time?
Well,
Do think
you
they'll
know
be-
the answer to that one.
Well, I haven't read them, so.
Really?
No, I haven't read them. So,
Oh, well, there's your answer then.
Well, it mustn't last a very long
They
time.
don't stand the test of time
Must be
now.
confiscated because
That's
of how much
disappointing.
havoc. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh well. No, your books have gone somewhere else then.
Yeah.
But anyway, I shouldn't really said that. It's kind of offensive.
Yeah.
I should have maybe referenced the witchy one of your family, brothers and your mum. So your mum, when did she have you? Like, when did you start coming up with witchcraft? And she starts studying it.
She taught me since I was a baby, and her mother taught her since she was a baby. Like, since we could speak, since we could do anything, we've been taught witchcraft.
Right. So, like, there's trials and etc. Has any of your family been dealt with for actually doing any of this? Have they been put under punishment?
Yes.
Yeah.
My mother, actually, she had the float test done. So
Right,
if you sink,
Yeah.
then you aren't
You
a
don't
witch,
come
but
back
you
up.
drown.
Yeah.
If you float, then you are a witch. And my mother floated.
Yeah. Lucky enough.
So,
Yeah.
well, she was put on trial after
Well, I'll
that.
definitely not float.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that one. But yeah, crazy that trial. Do you ever see yourself doing it if you carry on?
I hope not.
Well, you don't sound like a wicked witch, to be honest with you. You sound more of a common witch. You just do the spells for the fun of it. Well, I didn't mean that in any offence, but
Thanks.
you don't come across as it. Let's say that.
I'll take
Yeah,
that.
we'll
I'll
take
take
that.
that.
Yeah, we'll take it. So, what was your hometown like?
Oh, it was lovely. It was in the countryside,
Yeah.
so I never really went into the city. So I wouldn't really know what to compare it to.
No.
Everyone knew each other, even if we liked to stay away from the non-witches. We still liked, to mingle a little bit.
Yeah.
So everyone knew everyone. We're all in a really close-knit community, and that was why it was so disappointing when
all ended.
the trials would come about, because you'd know who it was on trial.
Yeah. Would you ever see any division between you and an everyday normal person? Does that ever like
Probably.
bother you? Like knowing that you can't fit, well, you can fit in, but you're not exactly the same because
Yeah.
you've got these special abilities.
Any normal person can become a witch
Yeah.
through
But
practice.
some people
they just
decide
need to
not
be
to.
taught a few spells.
Yeah.
I can teach you spells
Yeah, of
right now.
course, yeah.
You want to learn some spells?
I don't really want to be on trial though, do I? So.
I don't know. Are there
yeah.
trials in 2018?
Could do it.
Right, we'll learn some spells. I just have to find one.
Oh, here you go. One right here.
Okay.
Well, you can use it on our test.
There's your
Andrew.
wand.
Oh, it's a hammer. No, I'm joking. Right.
I don't think the hammer would work.
Right. Go ahead. Teach me how to do it.
Okay, so
Maybe
we're going to
use-
make
Oh, okay.
this cat
use
come
the
to
cat,
life.
yeah.
First, it needs a name.
Right.
Name it.
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Call it Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy the cat.
Jimmy the cat. Yeah.
Okay, So the first important thing is the hand movements.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Imagine you're drawing a mouse.
A mouse?
Yes.
I don't know how I can draw a
mouse.
Okay. Looks more like a cat to me.
The cat has to interact with the mouse, and that's why we draw a mouse.
So it like attracts it?
Yes.
All right, okay, yeah. I'll
So
see
point
where
your
this is
wand in the
going.
air and draw the mouse. Okay.
Yeah,
And now the magic words.
right.
Nicolius,
Nicolius,
Melitius.
Melitius.
Nicolius, Melitius.
Nicolius, Melitius.
So together.
Yeah.
Nicolius, Melitius.
Right.
Perfect.
Yep.
And now we're going to do it on the cat, okay?
Okay. Right.
Right. Nicolius, Melitius.
Right, it's a stay
Again.
the same. Right, okay.
Nicolius, Melitius. Oh
Oh,
my
where's it
god!
gone?
Oh my god!
Wow, it's just totally jumped off the table.
There we go. It's
Well done.
magic.
Yeah.
It's magic. These ones definitely
Is there any more you
work.
can teach me? We've got Andre right here.
Andrew, do you
Yeah.
want to learn in these spells?
I heard you can make him stay still. Want to go ahead? Yeah.
You should assume a pose. And you should stay like that
You
till
wanna bring the camera
end of
over
the
here?
I have
show.
no choice, do I?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Natalius Marinius.
Whoa, Jesus.
See?
You there, Andre?
He'll stay
That's
like
crazy.
that.
Right. Do you want to unspell him? Because he actually needs to do the news after.
Fine. Marinius Natalius. No?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, made me scared.
Was
Then. I
really
would have got the
uncomfortable.
sack. Right.
Yeah?
Were you happy with that? Yeah?
Yeah.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus. So, can you teach me any more spells, or is that it from this?
I don't want to go into the realm of danger.
No.
There's a dangerous path.
Well, we have a hammer right here, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That could not end well.
No, not at all. Okay. Fair enough.
Actually, okay. One more spell. Okay.
Do you want me to go with you and do this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna make
okay.
the doll dance. Okay?
Okay, right. Should I not hold the one for this one?
You should hold the doll.
Right, okay. I understand.
Just a warning though, if you are holding the doll, it may make you dance.
Right.
So this might not go well.
I think the
but-
doll might just dance. Yeah.
It
I
might.
think so, yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay, pick up the doll.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, let's try and remember the spell. I'm trying to remember one. Okay, they all have this on the end, it's very weird. So for this one,
Yeah.
you have to do a little dance to cast a spell, okay?
Right.
So that's the move. You do the move.
So it's like the Daniel Storage
do the
dance.
move.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right.
You do the move.
You're not doing it at the same time?
I'm teaching you.
Right,
do the
okay.
move. Okay.
That looks
don't think it's
awful.
cut
No,
out
it's
for
not
you to
going to work, is
do.
it?
Hold the doll.
Right.
Okay,
go on.
it's gonna dance. Okay,
What dancer? Anything you want.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
we'll
yeah.
never know.
Okay.
Okay. Davidius Husius. Amazing! Wow!
Whoa. How did it do that?
Wow.
Amazing,
Yeah,
wow.
see, I could do the spells.
Right. Well, shall we carry on with the interview?
No.
No? Right, okay then. Well, that's all we have for It's About Time today. Come back next time for us with more questions, like accurate historical figures. Thank you very much. This has been Elliot Finch and Abigail Sutton. See you now.
My God.